Hey, good morning, everyone. Wednesday morning, August 29th. It's time to do a little video blog today because we do have some active weather heading our way on the first day of the Canfield Fair later on today. A cold front is going to track into the region and produce some showers and some thunderstorms. Before those arrive, though, the heat and humidity, a big story for the opening of the fair today. Taking a look at temperatures across kind of a large swath here, you can see that we're not alone in the warm and muggy conditions already at 8 to 12 in the morning. It's well up into the 70s, but there is a cold front out to our west. Pretty easy to find that front. It's right here. And that's the front that's heading our way later on today and will bring us a distinct air mass change by tonight and tomorrow. Now, it's not going to be as cool as it is right now behind the front in the northern plains, but it will be noticeably cooler for the end of the week. Again, dew points are also very elevated. It remains a very muggy air mass with dew points in the lower 70s. This morning, the Storm Prediction Center does have us in a low-end risk. That's that dark green color that you see across the region today. So it's not likely to be a big severe weather day today, but a few of these storms could get a little bit feisty as we get into the afternoon today. One of the reasons why it's probably not a big severe weather day today, even though it's a pretty decently strong cold front heading our way, there's not a lot of support in the upper levels of the atmosphere for real organized severe weather today. What I mean by that is, even though the atmosphere will be plenty unstable and we have a trigger, we have a cold front coming our way, the energy aloft that you need a lot of times to kind of vent storms and help storms create a lot of wind energy just isn't there. You know, later on today into tonight, or this evening I should say, most of this in this blue and green color, this is what we call vorticity, up at about 18,000 feet. In other words, kind of spin at that level. And spin at that level helps the air to rise and creates a little more energy in the atmosphere. Most of that's aimed up into Canada, and it's not really diving down into Ohio and Pennsylvania. So that's one of the reasons, you know, getting a little bit geeky here, but that's one of the reasons why the severe weather threat today is not higher than it would be otherwise. What about the timing of the rain today? Again, I think we're mostly dry through mid-afternoon. Now, as we get into late afternoon, this is at 5 o'clock this evening on our short-range model here. It shows thunderstorms bubbling up by about 5 p.m. across I-90 and then heading back towards I-71, and all this will then track east during the evening. So here's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. If this model has the timing right, 7 o'clock is kind of prime time for us, I think, to see the most widespread showers and thunderstorms. Now, that's one of our short-range model and probably the better of the two, but I'll show you the other one that I like to look at as well. Its simulated radar is a little bit faster with the arrival of the storms. Here's 5 o'clock already, the storms knocking on our door at 5 o'clock, and then by 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock they're pushing through, and the threat's pretty much over by 8 o'clock. So that's a little bit slower than our other model. Again, though, I think the first model I showed you tends to hit the timing of this a little bit better than the second one. So this is the graphic I put out last night. I wouldn't tweak this a whole lot, maybe extend the end time to 8 p.m. instead of 7 p.m., but generally that 4 to 8 window is when we need to be weather aware today. Again, not expecting a huge severe weather day, but any of these storms could be on the strong side. An outside chance of wind damage if they get strong enough, an outside chance of localized minor flooding in areas of poor drainage. These storms are going to be moving along pretty well, but the atmosphere is so moist that they'll produce a lot of rain. Even though it might not last very long, it could really rain hard for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, and in areas that don't drain that well, that could cause some minor issues. All right, rest of the weather for the fair, and I covered this in my blog post last night on ericwfmj.com, but I'll just roll through this quickly. I think the end of the week looks good. Thursday will be much more comfortable. This is Friday. High pressure up here providing a dry northeast flow. It's going to start to warm up on Friday, but overall, very nice day. It'll be a great evening Thursday, a great evening to be at the fair on Friday. Over the weekend, the heat and humidity builds. We'll get into more of a south to southwest flow. And even though on Saturday you see a little bit of green here being spit out by the model, we're going to continue a dry forecast for now. I'll take a look at this later on today. We might have to throw in a small chance of an afternoon pop-up shower or storm Saturday. Don't think it's a big deal. On Sunday, a front may kind of straddle the region. Low forecast confidence at this point, but might be a front somewhere in here, maybe just enough to pop up a shower or a thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. And I think Monday's forecast for Labor Day will be fairly similar. It doesn't look like a rainy day at all, but a pop-up in the afternoon, that's going to be a possibility. The big story for the weekend part of the fair is it's going to get hot and humid once again. Probably not as hot as the last couple of days and today, but still pretty steamy. We'll get into the mid-80s and heat index values on on the asphalt and the concrete out at the fair will be 90 or so. So keep that in mind. It's going to be a pretty toasty weekend. All right, I'll have an update later on today. Lots of updates later on today, in fact, as the thunderstorm threat increases late this afternoon. I'll keep you updated on the Storm Tracker 21 app and on Facebook and on Twitter. And of course, I'll have a full update this evening on 21 News at 6 and 11. Have a great Wednesday.